On March 8, 2014, commercial aircraft carrying 239 people vanished from radar. No distress signal was sent. No wreckage was immediately found. And to this day, the full truth of what happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 remains unknown. This is one of the greatest aviation mysteries in modern history, a case that involved 17 nations, the largest underwater search in history, and billions of dollars. A case that left 239 families waiting for answers that never came. Every detail in this documentary is based on official investigation reports and verified public sources. This is the full story of MH370. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was scheduled to depart Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m. on March 8, 2014. Its destination was Beijing Capital International Airport in China. The aircraft was a Boeing 777-200, or one of the most reliable planes ever built. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members. The passengers came from 14 different countries. Among them were families, business travelers, students, and engineers. The flight took off on schedule, and initial reports indicated everything was normal. At 1:19 a.m., the crew made their final routine radio contact with Malaysian Air Traffic Control. The words spoken were completely routine, nothing unusual, nothing concerning. At 1:21 a.m., the aircraft transponder was turned off. A transponder is the device that allows air traffic controllers to track a plane location in real time. Without it, the plane effectively disappeared from civilian radar screens. According to investigators, this was not caused by a technical failure. The transponder had been deliberately switched off. For the next several hours, MH370 flew in complete silence, invisible to the world below. Malaysian military radar continued to track the aircraft after the transponder was switched off. According to that data, the aircraft made a sharp turn to the west away from its planned route to Beijing. It flew back across the Malaysian peninsula and out over the Strait of Malacca. At approximately 2:22 a.m., it disappeared from military radar as well. At that point, no one on the ground had any idea where the plane was heading. However, a satellite communication system on board continued to send automatic signals. These signals were received by a satellite operated by the British company Inmarsat. According to Inmarsat analysis, the final signal was received at approximately 8:19 a.m. That signal indicated the aircraft had been flying for approximately 7 hours after disappearing from radar. Using this satellite data, investigators were able to calculate two possible flight paths. One path led north towards Central Asia. The other path led south deep into the remote southern Indian Ocean. Based on the analysis of fuel capacity and satellite data, investigators concluded the southern route was most likely. That conclusion pointed to one of the most remote and deepest parts of the entire ocean, a location thousands of miles from the nearest coastline, a location where the ocean floor reaches depths of over 4 kilometers. According to investigators, if the aircraft went down in that region, finding it would be extraordinarily difficult. The search for MH370 became the largest and most expensive aviation search in history. 17 countries contributed ships, aircraft, and resources to the operation. The initial search focused on the South China Sea, the area where the plane was last seen on radar. However, as satellite data was analyzed, the search area shifted dramatically to the southern Indian Ocean. According to official reports, the underwater search eventually covered an area of over 120,000 square kilometers. Despite this enormous effort, the main wreckage of the aircraft was never located. In July 2015, a significant breakthrough occurred. A piece of aircraft debris was discovered washed up on the island of Reunion in the Indian Ocean. The piece was identified as a flaperon, a component from the wing of a Boeing 777. Investigators confirmed it came from MH370. In the months and years that followed, additional debris pieces were found on coastlines across the Indian Ocean. These findings confirmed that MH370 had indeed gone down somewhere in the southern Indian Ocean. But without the main wreckage and the flight recorders, the cause of the disappearance remained a mystery. While investigators searched the ocean, the families of those on board faced an unbearable weight. According to family members who spoke publicly, The hardest part was the uncertainty. They had no confirmation of what had happened and no remains to grieve over. Many families refused to accept that their loved ones were gone. According to those who represented the families, the lack of official communication made the situation significantly worse. Years after the disappearance, many family members continued to push for answers. They funded independent research, hired private investigators, and lobbied governments directly. According to victim family groups, the official investigation left too many questions unanswered. To this day, the families continue to seek closure that has never arrived. In the absence of a confirmed explanation, numerous theories have emerged over the years. The most widely accepted theory among aviation experts involves the actions of someone in the cockpit. According to this theory, the aircraft was deliberately diverted from its original course. Investigators examined the backgrounds of both pilots extensively. According to the official report, no definitive evidence of wrongdoing by either pilot was found. A second theory suggests a catastrophic mechanical or structural failure caused the crew to become incapacitated. Under this scenario, the aircraft continued flying on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. A third theory involves a fire or other emergency that forced the crew to change course. According to this theory, the crew may have been attempting to divert to the nearest airport. Without the flight recorders, however, none of these theories can be definitively confirmed or ruled out. That uncertainty is precisely what makes this case so deeply disturbing. The official investigation into M370 was formally suspended in January 2017. A new search was launched by a private company called Ocean Infinity in January 2018. That search also ended without locating the main wreckage. As of the time of this documentary, the main wreckage of M370 has never been found. The 239 people on board have never been officially accounted for. The case remains officially open. Classified as an unsolved aviation accident, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 is the only commercial aircraft in modern aviation history to have vanished without a confirmed explanation. For the families of those on board, the search for answers continues. They deserve answers. They deserve closure. They deserve the truth. Somewhere at the bottom of the southern Indian Ocean, the answers may still be waiting to be found. Thank you for watching Darkfulest Cases. If you found this documentary informative, please consider subscribing. New cases are uploaded every week. In the comments below, what do you think happened to M370? The disappearance of M370 changed aviation safety regulations around the world. Following the incident, the International Civil Aviation Organization introduced new tracking requirements for commercial aircraft. Airlines are now required to report the position of their aircraft at least every 15 minutes. These changes were directly inspired by the inability to locate M370 in the hours after it vanished. Despite these improvements, questions about what happened on that night in March 2014 remain completely unanswered. The underwater terrain in the southern Indian Ocean is among the most challenging on the planet. Deep sea mountains, underwater volcanoes, and extreme depths make any search operation extraordinarily complex. According to marine experts, the conditions in that region are unlike almost anywhere else on Earth. Even with the most advanced technology available, locating a small object on that ocean floor is a remarkable challenge. In 2023, Ocean Infinity announced plans to resume the search for M370 using next-generation underwater technology. According to their statements, new mapping data of the ocean floor may help narrow the search area significantly. Many aviation experts believe the aircraft is still recoverable if the correct search zone can be identified. The black boxes, which contain flight data and cockpit voice recordings, are believed to still be intact. According to investigators, those recorders hold the only definitive answers to what happened aboard M370. Finding them would resolve one of the greatest mysteries in the history of aviation. Until that day arrives, the case of M370 remains officially open. 239 people boarded that aircraft on March 8, 2014. They had plans. They had families. They had lives waiting for them at their destination. Every single one of them deserves to be remembered, not as a statistic, but as a person, and every single family left behind deserves the truth.